The Vatican's secret project to control the world, 326 million euros. That was the official profit of the Vatican Bank just last year. But here's what no one tells you. That number represents less than 1% of the real fortune hidden behind the walls of Vatican City. We're talking about a level of wealth so absurd that if it were ever fully revealed, it would make the Rothschilds look poor. And that fortune is being used right now in a plan that began more than 60 years ago, a plan to reorganize the entire power structure of the planet. In the next 10 minutes, I'll show you every piece of this puzzle. Welcome to Forbidden Wealth. If you made it this far, it's because you want to know what really happens behind the scenes of power. But before we continue, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because videos like this can vanish overnight. Ready? Let's go. To understand the Vatican's project, we have to go back to February 11th, 1929. That was the day the Lateran Treaty was signed, officially creating the State of Vatican City. But pay attention, because this is the part history never told you. When Mussolini signed that treaty with Pope Pius XV, he wasn't just giving the Catholic Church a small piece of land. He was creating something that had never existed before, a sovereign nation that answers to no one. Think about it. The Vatican covers only 44 hectares. It is the smallest country in the world, yet it has the same international rights as the United States or China. Total diplomatic immunity, zero mandatory financial transparency, no international oversight, and it operates a bank with absolute secrecy. What was created there was the perfect legal structure to build an invisible financial empire. And for decades, that's exactly what they did. During the 1930s, 40s, and 50s, the Vatican accumulated wealth in ways that would shock anyone. But that was only the foundation. The real plan hadn't even started yet. In 1962, everything changed. Pope John XXIII called the Second Vatican Council. Officially, the goal was to modernize the church. But leaked documents decades later revealed that, behind the scenes, a long-term plan was being drawn up, one that would forever change how power is exercised in the world. That plan had a code name: the New Spiritual Order. But don't be fooled. Its goal wasn't spiritual. It was total control. Let me explain how this project works. It's built on 3 fundamental pillars, and when combined, they create a web of influence so powerful that very few people can even see it. The first pillar is financial control. And when I say financial control, I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about being strategically positioned at every critical point of the global economy. In the 1960s and 70s, the Vatican Bank began making investments that made no sense for a religious institution. In 1969, journalists discovered that the Vatican owned shares in weapons manufacturers. Yes, you heard that right. The same church that preaches peace was profiting from companies that built machine guns and bombs. But it didn't stop there. They also invested in contraceptive companies, something the church publicly condemned. They held shares in tobacco, alcohol, and casino industries. Here's what most people missed. That wasn't hypocrisy. It was strategy. When you own shares in a company, you don't just get profits, you get voting rights. You get influence over that entire sector of the economy. Today, through a complex network of holdings and shell companies, the Vatican holds stakes in international banks, tech corporations, and media conglomerates. Estimates place the Vatican's total wealth between 800 billion and 2 trillion euros. 2 trillion. Let that sink in. But money is only the tool. It's used to establish the second pillar, political infiltration. Since the 1960s, the Vatican has built a network of special advisors, high-ranking cardinals and bishops strategically placed as spiritual counselors to political leaders around the world. They have direct access to presidential offices. They sit in meetings about public policy. They influence decisions on economics, laws, and international relations. And they do it all under the guise of spiritual guidance, which means there's no official record, no transparency, and no accountability. Have you noticed how every world leader visits the Pope when they take office? Trump did. Obama did. Putin, Xi Jinping, Lula, every one of them. And it's not courtesy. It's recognition. Recognition of where the real power lies. In 2012, the Vatican documents revealed how these advisors influenced elections and billion-dollar deals, all in the shadows. But there's still a third pillar, and it's the most dangerous of all: technological control. In September 2020, while the world was distracted by the pandemic, Pope Francis secretly met with the CEOs of the 5 biggest tech companies: Google, Microsoft, IBM, Facebook, and Apple. The official topic was ethics in artificial intelligence. Sounds noble, right? But 3 months later, an internal document leaked, and what it revealed changed everything. It outlined global moral guidelines for the development of AI. But these weren't suggestions, they were rules that those companies agreed to follow. Think about it. AI will control self-driving cars, financial systems, power grids, medical decisions. If the Vatican influences the rules guiding that technology, they're not just participating in the future, they're designing the future. And there's more. In 2021, the Vatican launched a digital transformation plan to connect 1.4 billion Catholics into a single online network, a platform where every person has a profile, where activities are tracked and connections are mapped. They're creating the largest behavioral database on Earth. Imagine the level of control that represents. Over the past few years, Pope Francis has spoken more and more about the need for a new global economic order. He talks about redistributing global wealth, creating governance systems that go beyond national borders, and even a single digital currency. Now connect the dots: financial control, political influence, technological power, and a public call to reorganize global authority. These aren't random events. It's a cohesive plan that began in 1962 and is now entering its final stage. In 1982, the Ambrosiano Bank, tied to the Vatican Bank, collapsed overnight. Investigations revealed money laundering and funding for dictatorships. The bank's president, Roberto Calvi, was found hanging under a bridge in London. Initially ruled a suicide, but years later proven to be murder, and the trail led straight back to the Vatican. In 2012, the Pope's butler leaked thousands of documents, the scandal known as Vatileaks. It exposed corruption, embezzlement, and even evidence of election interference across Europe. Declassified CIA documents about Operation Gladio showed that during the Cold War, the Vatican played a key role in secret operations, providing communications and funding through channels no government could trace. More recently, the Vatican has partnered with the World Economic Forum, attended Davos, and the Pope has become one of the strongest supporters of the Great Reset. In his recent speeches, he openly calls for a global political authority, a governance system above national governments. So let's recap. We have an institution with up to 2 trillion euros, investments in every critical sector of the economy, a political influence network spanning world leaders, a hand in shaping artificial intelligence, and public speeches promoting global governance. The question isn't if the Vatican has a project to control the world. The evidence is overwhelming. The real question is, how far have they already succeeded? And the answer is simple: much more than you imagine. Because true power doesn't announce itself. It operates, it influences, it directs, and most people never even notice. Now think about it. How many decisions that affect your life are made by people who've been through the Vatican, advised by the Vatican, or aligned with its interests? That's not coincidence. That's coordination. And before you think this doesn't affect you, if this project ever reaches its final goal, a single global government with a unified digital currency, the amount of individual freedom left will be close to zero. When power concentrates in one place, there's nowhere to run, no alternative. So what do you do with this information? First, understand that knowledge is power. You're no longer someone who blindly accepts the official narrative. Second, spread this information, share this video, because the greatest enemy of this project is public awareness. And third, protect your independence, financially, intellectually, and informationally. The more autonomous you are, the harder you are to control. If this video opened your eyes, leave a like, subscribe, and comment below. Do you think this project is real? In the next videos, I'll go even deeper. revealing the Vatican's connection to the Illuminati, the truth about Nazi gold, and the financial prophecies that are unfolding right now. This is just the beginning. Stay alert, question everything, and remember, the truth always comes to light. Until the next revelation.